One you have a doubt with over Saturday?
There's a couple that we're hoping that are going to be fit for the weekend. So they'll go through the process today and tomorrow, give them as much time as possible.
I wanted to ask about Lys Mousset as well. How close is he to being ready to play 90 minutes whenever you require him to do that?
Possibly a little bit off, but I think when you look at our forwards, not many of them play 90 minutes as well. We've got a group of forwards that we can change, obviously coming off the bench and for particular matches. I believe we made the right call last week, but maybe if we'd have had a week's work with Lys, the game was Saturday to Saturday, then I'd have been very, very, very tempted to start him at West Ham. But we made the right call, we believe. It's not always the easy one in terms of keeping the same side, and the biggest thing is that when we walk out, we believe that's the right team to start, not always to finish. And I think if you look back over the last 2 or 3 years, our changes at the top have really been at the top of the pitch, whether to freshen it up or to change it tactically. And I think that's the way the game has gone now. The game has changed, especially the work that we want to or expect them to do from a defensive point of view and in possession.
It's interesting. Eddie Jones, the England head coach, has talked about his substitutes, his replacements being finishers. Do you see that in a similar way, the changes you can make in a game? I
think you look, it's not an 11-man game for us. You look at every aspect of it, and everybody's got a part to play.
Quarter of the season gone then, 13 points. How satisfied are you with that as a total?
Yeah, we always want more. Performance levels have been good. Still work in progress, still got a lot of work to do, still got a lot of football to play, but we can be satisfied with where we are in the division. But we're always looking to improve game by game and period by period. I think that's one of the things that's happened at this football club over the last 3 years, and that needs to happen this year as well. As I said, still a long way to go, feet on the ground. Boys have, we've been delighted with the start that we've made, but as I've always said, it's only a start, and their challenge is to continue and to be consistent in the performances. Their attitude has been superb, as shown yet again second half at West Ham, and and still we're newcomers into the division, and still we're this team that came up from League One, and I have to keep reminding people that that's the situation. We weren't at this ridiculously powerful Championship club that's got an unbelievable amount of money to spend and getting set for the Premier League. We've done it in double quick time, and the boys are still learning. We've got young players in there as well that is their first season in the Premier League. So, I think you've got to look at that as well when you criticise or there's an opinion on certain players, which I know there will be. This is their first season in the Premier League, and I think they're doing great. And for me, that's all that matters.
Are there particular aspects of the game that you feel they've adapted to particularly well in this early part of the season you're playing?
Yeah, I think we wouldn't have got the results that we've got if we hadn't adapted well in certain situations. But always, we're looking to improve the players individually and looking to improve the players as a group.
How are you finding life as a Premier League manager?
I'm just a manager, so it doesn't change. It's not changed. Yeah, a few people might recognise me a little bit more because of the media coverage, but it's not really changed me at all.
Let's talk about Burnley then. Sean Dyche this week celebrating 7 years in charge.
Brilliant.
What are your thoughts on the job he's done?
Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. Got a lot of respect for Sean. Known him a while. He's played in these parts. So came across him as a player, and obviously followed his managerial career from Watford into Burnley, and what he's done, he's been exceptional. Getting into the Europa League, and as I said before, they're a benchmark for clubs like ourselves that want to stay in the Premier League, and their fixtures against the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal and Premier League fixtures that they crave for year in, year out, they produce that. And I like his team. I like the way they work together, and they're a team, and they've got really good individuals in that team.
Is there particular aspects of the Burnley model that you'd like to be able to incorporate into what you do here? Are there things that you particularly like about what they do?
I've just mentioned the stuff that I've mentioned. That they're a team. They've got good individuals. They've got a plan. They play a way that's effective. Sean doesn't get caught up in all the hype that surrounds the Premier League, there is a lot. I admire the way he does that. I smile and chuckle inside because maybe I know deep down what he's thinking, but he goes and manages his football club to the best of his ability and the staff, and it's going to be a really tough game, as tough as anyone that we've played at home, and I'm not just saying that to cover our backs, but you know that they give everything and they leave everything out on the pitch, and they've got talented individuals and they're organised and they've got goals in them, and as I said, you know, this is as tough a game for us as what we've had. I always think that, you know, as I said, people look at the Liverpool game and the Arsenal game, but you know, I've always looked at every game. I looked at the West Ham game on Saturday, and you know, my reaction afterwards was one that I think represented the result that we got on the day, because you know, after not raising your game but playing to the standard we did against Arsenal, to back that up with especially a second half performance and a result at West Ham, them off the back of getting beat at Everton, reaction, the players that they've got, was there for all to see. But yet again, quickly after that, we move on to a really important game, and it's not got the Saturday Tuesday feel of obviously Championship football, but it's certainly got the feel of intense, full on Premier League football, and yet again, you know, Burnley roll into town on Saturday, and this is going to be a real difficult game for us.
There's a survey that probably won't surprise you this week about Bramall Lane having the best atmosphere in the Premier League. Just how important are the fans going to be in a game like this, where it is going to be difficult? Just
as important as what they have been in Liverpool, against Liverpool and against Arsenal. You know, I know they will look at those sort of games, those sort of standout stellar games in the fixture list, but they've got to be consistent just as much as my team has got to be consistent, because of the things that I've talked about, where we've come from, where we are, how difficult the Premier League is, the backing that the players deserve, the drive and enthusiasm they give those players, so that must continue, and I'm sure it will.
Just a quick word on Oliver Norwood coming up against his hometown club. How well does he, in particular, settled into life in the Premier League, do you feel?
Well, he's got to get in the team first, so I haven't picked the team yet, so if you know something that I don't, but he's been great for us since he come to the football club. His sort of record getting out of the Championship was there for everybody to see. Great background from Manchester United, and had to go from, like a lot of players do, have to go from Manchester United and go and carve a career out. Over 50 international caps, promotions that he's got in his CV, and he's been a brilliant addition to the squad that I've assembled.
And just finally, last weekend we saw a bit more of a proactive approach from VAR. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think there's always going to be teething problems with it, and you know, subjective opinions on it. So it's going to happen right the way through the season. So I think everybody at the Premier League and the PGMLO, is it, or OL, or whatever it is, will know that these situations would have happened, and obviously, you know, we've had decisions that have been against us, and I think that'll be right the way through. So as long as there's consistency in the situation and the process, then I think, you know, everybody realises that not to use it as an excuse, and it's here for the benefit and to make the game better, and hopefully it does.
Thanks for your time, Chris. Best of luck.
Hi, Chris. Knowing Sean Dyche as you do, are you expecting his team to be particularly revved up after a heavy defeat against Chelsea, the sort of wounded animal syndrome?
No, not really. I think for them to get the results that they've had disappointments along the way, and I just think they're really consistent in their approach. You know, I just read an article from Jack Cork, and he's the same. You know, that's the reason that they've achieved the results that's ultimately given the success that they've had over the years, is that game in, game out, whether it's Sheffield United away or whether it's Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea at home, you know, they leave everything out there and they produce 100% performances. And Sean will be the first to admit, you know, the competition is huge and immense, and sometimes you come up short, which you have to accept and then quickly move on, and they've done that fantastically well.
Does anybody need anything else before we embargo stuff for Saturday?